Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. October 22nd, 2025. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. I'm TJ Walker, joined in studio with Stephen Peak. Across the table from me and across the cement wall is one producer, Matt, assuming he didn't run away in the last minute or two. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Hope your morning's been nice, and hope your afternoon's even better. Another beautiful fall day. Stephen Peak, how are you? What's up?
Doing good. Excited. We're counting down the hours until Kentucky basketball takes the court versus the number one Purdue Boilermakers. I'm fired up and watched a little bit of basketball last night. Got to see former Cat Jordan Burks go off in the first half versus the Duke Blue Devils. They lost by 25, but they were winning at the break, I think, or down by one. Either way, Jordan Burks had like 20 first half points. Didn't fight anybody, so that's good. It was a good Tuesday night.
Yeah, not fighting anybody is a big deal.
Yeah, that's a massive improvement from Jordan Burks.
I saw that he was balling out, and I didn't watch the game, and I haven't gotten back and even watched the highlights of UCF versus Duke. I will say you're going to really separate some basketball bennies from just the casuals with who's going back and watching these exhibition games or not. And on a serious note, like, you would think there is going to be a huge leg up gambling angle for some people that are paying attention. Some of those first lines in November, the first couple weeks of the college basketball season, really all the way through the holiday tournaments, you get some wild lines. You can take advantage of it. Now, sometimes you see a number and you're like, aha, there's one of those wild lines. I'm going to take advantage of it. And you end up finding out over the course of 2 or 3 months that team was just actually really, really bad. Mm-hmm. And you were on the wrong side of the really weird line. But, no, it's exhibition games. They're going to tell you some things. Jordan Burks, the highlights that I saw, the way that he was scoring, he looked like Kobe.
Yeah, he did.
He was, like, dribbling at the top of the key. I mean, this was a forward for UK. He's doing, like, crossover dribbles, getting to the elbow, pump fake, fade away, and bang. And then he was celebrating every made shot.
I loved
it was like the NBA Finals. And
I loved it.
He looked surprised every time the ball went in. And he's a good player. I'm not Jordan Burks he's somebody that I would have happily, it was a blowout.
Yeah, 96-71, Duke finally pulled away. You know, the great thing about these exhibitions is, and you said Jordan Burks celebrating every time he scored, how many times is he going to get a chance to play in Cameron Indoor Stadium? That might be it, right? That might be the only time he gets to do that. The thing that's going to be cool about this is the places like Rupp Arena, Cameron Indoor, you know, over in Chapel Hill, all the big places, Kansas, they're gonna get to host a lot of these games because I think it'd be pretty cool to play in those arenas where in the regular season, do you think Matt Painter wants to bring his team to Rupp Arena in November, December to play a road game in a place that people don't typically win?
I don't think Matt Painter thinks much, honestly.
You don't think he thinks very much?
No, just in general. I don't think he thinks much. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think, honestly, Matt Painter probably wouldn't care.
But you're going into a place that typically teams don't come out with a win.
Sure.
But you do this in these exhibitions where it doesn't hurt you, and you get to take your players to one of the premier sites of college basketball, like Rupp Arena, Cameron Indoor, get them out to Kansas. And, yeah, that's what I think is going to be so cool about this is that, honestly, I think Kentucky's not going to have to play any of these on the road because teams are going to be so anxious to come in and play at Rupp.
I think at some point you probably will. I'm sure there's probably a turnaround on one of these games or another, but it doesn't really matter, though, where you play.
Play Duke
it's an exhibition.
At Cameron Indoor?
Yeah, may as well. You know,
well, we got to do it eventually, right?
Yeah.
Are they ever going to set up the ACC, SEC?
I think so. I think at some point. Not sure when, but I think at some point. Producer Matt, how are you? Happy Wednesday to you. Hump day. You made it halfway through the week, baby.
I'm good. I'm ready to go. Like you said, it's halfway through the week. I'm excited that NBA is back in town. Well, not in town, but in my town for me. I'm ready to see how the Pacers do this season, and unfortunately without Tyrese Halliburton, but I'm still optimistic. Still optimistic, ready to get it going. We're just at, like, my favorite time of the year where just everything is going on at once. It's hard to watch it all, but I'm going to do my damnedest to try and do it.
Yeah, the NBA back last night. Well, I hate saying this as the sports talker, as somebody that does a sports radio show. We didn't bring it up on the show yesterday. I didn't really care about it. There were only 2 games. Were they good, producer Matt? Did they live up to the hype?
Oh,
They were both really good.
Okay.
Like the Thunder Rockets game went to double OT. Shea wins it from the free throw line. No surprise there. Lakers. Who was it? Oh, crap, I fell asleep for that game.
Warriors, right?
Warriors. Yeah, that one I went to bed a little earlier, but apparently that came down to the wire as well. Austin Reeves looked good. Luka Doncic looked like the best player that's ever held a basketball. I'm excited.
How did Reed Shepherd look? A little bit that I saw wasn't the best performance, but what did you see?
He looked like, I mean, he's a good shooter, but God, it was a poor performance. I'm not gonna lie.
3 for 11 from the field.
Oh, you're
2 of
just
7
you're
from
just a
3.
hater, producer.
No,
Matt.
I mean defensively, it looked like they threw him out there and he wasn't ready. He looked really nervous. I kind of felt like to the point where I was like, man, I feel bad for this guy.
Wow, getting the sympathy from producer Matt.
That's not good. He
What?
did play 28 minutes. Yeah, like I said, 27% from the field. Missed a free throw, too. That's not like
A lot of that came down to Amen Thompson going out in the game, getting kind of hurt, so he had to play a couple more minutes there late in the second half. It was just like boneheaded mistakes.
Is that the Steven Adams? It
Yes.
sure is.
I saw a stat last night that the Rockets starting 5 have more games in a Thunder uniform than this Thunder team have. Just in Kevin Durant, Steven Adams.
That's insane.
That's kind of funny.
I am unfortunately legally obliged to tell the Steven Adams story. I cannot believe this dude's still playing in the NBA. Good for him. He's only 32. He's still younger than me, for what it's worth. That guy's been around forever. I interviewed him before the Derby City Classic in Louisville. You remember the Derby City Classic, Stephen?
Of course, yeah.
It was a classic. It was a blast. It was fun going to every single year. Producer Matt, did you ever go to the Derby City Classic, or was that before your time?
I have never been.
Have you ever heard of it?
I have heard of it. Couldn't
Okay.
give you any lore on it, but
It used to be the bee's knees back in the day. It really was like second to the
I went to
McDonald's
it several
All-American
times.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to the.
I didn't know the difference.
the night. I mean, truly. I mean, sometimes you'd have players that would play in both of those games. It was, and then the Jordan Brand Classic came around, and that really hurt it, unfortunately. But they do like the Future Pros Night at Bellarmine, where they do the dunk contest and 3-on-3 and or 2-on-2. 2-on-2 is always a good time to watch. If you're needing a Midnight Madness event, good old-fashioned 2-on-2 like NBA Jam, it goes a long way. But anyways, they haven't done it for many, many years. But I was interviewing him at the Derby City Classic, where he is from New Zealand. And he proceeded to tell me that he had intercourse with every girl in New Zealand.
Every one.
Every one of them.
Well, hang on. That can't be right. I know
Yeah.
this is a while ago, but I'm going to look up the New Zealand female population. I don't think that's going to check out, though.
And he was in his little New Zealand accent. He's like, "Yeah, mate, I've laid them all." And like I laughed, and he did not laugh. And he was like, "I'm not joking."
Okay, so that's two. What year was this?
This was 2012.
Oh, okay.
Or
Okay. I don't know why.
2010.
Okay, so 2015, that was 2 million. That was over 2 million people.
Okay.
So I
think he was exaggerating.
he probably was exaggerating
What do
a
you
little
think, producer Matt?
Can you repeat the question one more quick?
True or false?
False.
Yeah, I think it's false as well. I think I'm with you on that one. Yeah, this must have been 2010 or 2011 or something like that. But it was truly one of the most bizarre interviews I'd ever done, because it was like, well, this isn't off the record, so I guess this is going to be the theme of my story. Steven Adams has relations with every homegrown New Zealander.
Was that the headline?
That was the headline, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Instantly
Can I
got
find
fired.
that somewhere?
What's the little dance that they do in New Zealand? The Maori, where they're like
The
the haka, the hakua,
Yeah, that's it.
the haka dance. Yeah. He was a good interview. Good basketball player, and still hanging around the NBA.
I'm typing in his name along with yours and seeing if I can find that old article.
It would have been an old Cats Illustrated article. And the thing
Okay.
is, I don't even know why I really interviewed him. He was going to Pitt. He wasn't going to UK. I don't know if I just wanted to interview a New Zealand guy just to interview a New Zealand guy. I don't know. I was like 20 years old, 19 years old. Tough for me to say.
I
How
can't
did our
find it
guys,
anywhere.
Cason Wallace and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, do, producer Matt?
Poor performance for Shea in the first half. Once he finally got to the free throw line, where his game elevates, did really well. hit my first parlay of the year with Shay, so thank you for that, Shay. Thank you, sir.
Are you eating, Producer Matt?
I was having a snack.
I mean, it sounds like you're having a snack. I can't see you through the wall.
I was having a snack.
All right, well, what are you having a snack with?
Some pretzels, some honey mustard seasoned pretzel twists.
Gross.
Delicious, amazing. I might put some white sauce on them here in a little bit and bring some over for you to try.
Gross.
Producer Matt has my favorite kind of style of humor. It's that real subtle, you have to catch it. He doesn't, you know what I mean? He just says it, and you have to
I'm
have
not
to
waiting
know it.
for you. You're going to have to pick up on it.
I like it.
Producer Matt, the YouTube page. We're on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTubers out there. Comment, say what's up. We're appreciative. You had one job on the YouTube page today, Producer Matt.
It was all caps.
That wasn't the one job. There was one thing I sent you to be on the YouTube page today.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, you did send me something. Hold on, I got to pull it up. I'll put it on there.
Oh, you almost got it. Almost. But it looks really good, everything else. I like it. I got
to email it to myself.
We can get Hugh Freeze out of there, though. That's for sure.
I was going to ask, is there something about Hugh Freeze when I was looking at that? Was there news about Hugh Freeze?
I don't know. We were talking about Auburn yesterday, I think.
Gotcha.
When you got your credentials.
Where's Jacob Polachek?
Yeah, where's Jacob Polachek?
He will be here at 1 p.m. He's going to talk some recruiting and basketball, yeah, and basketball recruiting, and maybe give him a little more insight into Jalen Lowe, what he heard on Saturday. That kind of, I'll tell you this: getting a text message from Jacob Polachek on Saturday morning that Jalen Lowe was going to be okay. It just the level of relief. So
how courageous was that text?
It was the post on KS Sport, man. Jacob Polachek, you know what sucks about like what he does?
Jacob Postachek
is that you get people remember all of your misses. They remember all the times when you got bad info.
Get ready.
Be ready.
Be ready.
And people hate on him for it. He's right most of the time, but people will remember the few times that you're wrong in that business. Being a source guy or being the scoop guy.
I know all about that.
Yeah, of course. And dude, people are freaking mean to him online for no reason. He's like you met him. He's one of the nicest guys.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, and he is constantly on the phone. That dude is working 24 hours I mean, I don't know when he sleeps because he's always on the phone with agents, recruits, and coaches, and that the new added element of dealing with all these agents when it comes to recruiting. Jacob is constantly on the phone and constantly trying to get information. So I know how hard he works. It honestly bothers me when I see some of the more prominent Kentucky and like Twitter accounts, the ones that don't show their face.
Let's call them out.
Next time I see them, I will read them on the air. We should have Jacob Polachek read mean tweets. That would be a segment that could be fun.
Yeah, we like Jacob. We don't want him to be sad.
No, I mean, he has to read them anyway. We might as well bring a little humor to it because, I mean, he gets some really nasty messages. He sends them to me sometimes. Like, got some more death threats today. We're back, baby.
If he ever gets a death threat, he needs to go to the powers that be on something like that. If there is a loser sending Jacob Polachek death threat messages, and you are a loser if you're doing that. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're sending threats to anybody, I don't care if it's sweet little Jacob Polachek or anybody. You are just a complete and total loser. I can't stress it enough. Don't do it to Jacob. If that's actually happening, he should. How funny would it be if somebody got arrested and they were like, "What are you in for?" Well, there's this recruiting guy. He's got red hair, has a mouse problem. One time he was wrong about a recruitment, so I really let him have it, and I crossed the line on his physical being. Yeah, so he needs to turn those people in. And I'll help him with it because that would be so funny to see somebody's like rap sheet and be like, yeah, threatening to Jacob Polachek, and they'd have to put that picture on the YouTube stream. They'd have to put that picture up there when they'd have to describe what they did. Yeah, I threatened to kill that guy. Carrot Top? Why'd you want to kill Carrot Top?
Well, he said some recruiting stuff and it ended up not being accurate. I got really upset about it.
Favorite recruit ended up not going somewhere else, and I kind of blame him for it in a weird way. I don't have the time to tell you the story.
That's what it is, isn't it, TJ? It's that they got bad news and they got their hopes up, and they need somebody to blame. They need somebody to go after, and they don't. It's just right now. Mark Pope can't do any wrong except for whiffing on a few recruits. But we'll have Jacob in there to talk about that. And we'll see. I think Kentucky basketball recruiting is in a very weird place right now. Would you agree with that?
No, not necessarily.
It's not just Kentucky, but it's like all of college basketball, and it's like we got used to. You got to land these freshmen, and we got to get the 5 stars to come in, and I just don't think that's how Kentucky basketball is going to recruit for a while. I mean, do you need to bring in a 4-star 18-year-old, or could that 4-star go somewhere else, and you see how it goes, and then you bring him in as a sophomore or even a junior, and there's still a 2 and done at Kentucky? I just think it's not like it was even just 3 years ago. So we're all adjusting to that, even as not just people who cover this full time, but fans like myself who, gosh, we missed on another guy? What the hell's going on? But it's like, how badly do we need an 18-year-old on our rosters?
Was this your way to bring in U of L's newest commitment conversation to the radio show? Because that was professionally done.
Big time recruit.
That was a smooth transition into a real radio topic.
Real smooth.
That was incredible.
I can't believe you just bridged the gap right there.
The world of recruiting's so different. People don't know what to do. Things are different.
Go to the G League.
You have Tom Izzo just absolutely undressing Pat Kelsey. I sent the clip over to producer Matt. Is it ready to go?
It is ready.
Yeah, look at you. All right. Here's what Tom Izzo had to say about U of L's newest G League commit, who committed to the G League over college basketball because college basketball wasn't the best route for him. G League didn't so much work out. Guess where he's heading back to, folks? Here's Tom Izzo. And play this on like 1.25 speed, maybe even 1.5 if you're feeling.
Can you guys hear it?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, it's one of those clips that only I can hear for some reason.
All right, you go ahead and play it, but play it on like 1.5 if it's the longer one. Okay. Is it the 4-minute one?
Yes.
Oh man, maybe play it on 2 and just go real fast. I don't know.
I listen to people talk about kids changed. Kids aren't the problem. We're the problem. This was sprung on us again yesterday, where a guy can be in the G League for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's not coming over the thing either.
Well, is it? But it's playing over the air. Oh, it's not going over.
It's not.
It's not playing at all.
It's the same thing with that like Brett Favre clip I played before, where only I can hear for some reason. I don't know what it is with some of these clips.
Do you want me to read it real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, he said, I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Hold on, in your best Tom Izzo.
Oh, I can't. Don't make me do that.
Get myself in trouble.
You want to read it? That's pretty good.
You just have to sound like your voice is gone. He always sounds like his voice is gone. I know. It's like stop talking. Stop. You're cutting your throat. Stop it. All right, go ahead.
I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I listen to people talk about how kids change. Kids aren't the problem. We're the problem. This was sprung on us again yesterday, where a guy can be in the G League for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's eligible. Most of my people knew nothing about it. I'm not real excited about the NCAA or whoever is making these decisions without talking to us, just letting it go. They're afraid they're going to get sued. And he goes on, do you want me to keep going, or do you want me to just, we can pick it up there? The gist of it is Tom Izzo doesn't like that Louisville signed London Johnson, a former 4-star recruit, who has averaged 7.6 points over 3 seasons in the G League. And he'll be coming and playing for Louisville. TJ, I know you have thoughts.
I certainly have thoughts on London Johnson, the newest addition to Point Guard U. Point Guard U taking a little detour to the G League route for Point Guard U. Producer Matt, before I weigh in, what's your take on the commitment by Pat Kelsey, London Johnson's addition to the U of L men's basketball program? I'm sure you probably don't know a great deal about that, and that's all right. But the commitment, Tom Izzo's thoughts on it, and producer Matt Childers' his thoughts on that.
So to start off with Tom Izzo's thoughts, I mean, like, I get that he's frustrated with the NCAA. I mean, he's an older coach. You know, the game's kind of passing him up faster than he can even blink his eyes. So, I mean, like, I get it. Like, on the terms of
old people, notorious slow blinkers.
I'm just saying. I got it. Seeming like a lot of people that have a problem with this are kind of on the older side. I'm surprised Calipari hasn't said something about it yet.
That's why when Calipari would wink, it'd make me so uncomfortable. He closed his eyes so slow. Go ahead.
But on the terms of him joining, I love it. You know, the dude's played professional basketball before. I want the best players on Louisville's team. I don't care where they came from. What's the difference between a dude coming from the G League other than getting them from Europe. It's the exact same thing.
No.
How's it not?
No.
If anything, the players from Europe are playing in a more advanced professional basketball situation.
Are you open to changing your mind?
Are you open to changing your mind?
The difference is London Johnson turned down college basketball. How many of these European people are turning down college basketball to go play? That's what they have. That's the setup in Europe.
You're right.
This isn't the setup in America. He did something different. It did not work out, and now he's crawling back to his only option. Because the G-League didn't work out. So
where do we draw the line?
Going back. Is Stephen Peake cold?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Well, we probably should have drawn the line last year whenever, what was it, Thierry Darlin went to Santa Clara?
Yes.
Also, the same exact thing. The only reason this is news is because it's a major D1 program now.
It is not.
You're piggybacking off whoever that one person was who tweeted that. I saw that tweet. It was Baxley or whoever that dork is. No offense to that person. I'm sure he's a great person. But he had said that Santa Clara got a G League commit and nobody says anything, but then Louisville does, and it's just the talk of the town. Yes, producer Matt. Producer Matt, you're not Santa Clara. What are you talking about?
Who cares where they came from?
Who cares?
We're paying the 18-year-old freshman $6 million.
The U of L media spin is Santa Clara did it and nobody had an issue with it. How about a U of L media member just comes out and says, yeah, we shouldn't take London Johnson. We shouldn't take a failed G League player who has nowhere else to go. So as a 23-year-old, he's going to roll back into college basketball. I think he's 21, but he'll be 22 before he ever plays a college basketball game. It's okay as a U of L fan to say, I love Pat Kelsey. I'm excited for this year. I don't want to be the school that's going and getting G players to come back and give college basketball another chance. It's okay to say that.
But I'm not going to say that because it's not true. I don't care. I genuinely don't care where the players come from. If he's not breaking any rules, then what does it matter?
Breaking cardinal rules.
Well, I agree with Matt on that, but where do you draw this line? I mean, if you get a guy, let's say the guy goes to the NBA, are we just going to say, at some point, are we just going to allow that guy to come back and play college?
I mean, I think there's some fairness to this question from Peake is, if we are saying that, hey, somebody can play at the highest level of European basketball and come over, which used to be a no-no, but that it was allowed. And then now, and we have been, you're right, producer Matt, this didn't just happen yesterday with U of L. They're just playing by the rules. There is truth to that. But we are saying that, hey, you can go to the G League, be a part of an NBA organization as a G League team, and if it doesn't work out for you, but you basketball, why not? It is a fair question of where do you draw the line on eligibility.
I give your question credit. You're right. At some point, there needs to be a line drawn, but I don't think you can blame the dude for abiding by the rules.
If nobody's blaming London Johnson, I think we're blaming U of L for doing this.
That's the point I'm making. How are you blaming U of L for following the rules and getting a player that wants to come to U of L?
Well, first off, the player's not even that good. So you're sticking your neck out and doing something that's kind of just gross to begin with for somebody who's not even all that great of a basketball player. So that's a different conversation in its own right. And then secondly, you're blaming U of L because there could be a law. Let me think of let's see if I can think of one quick off the top of my head where it's technically not illegal to do it, but you probably shouldn't. You can stand down the sidewalk or stand on the street and look in somebody's window.
There's no rule that says a dog can't play basketball.
There you go. There's no rule that says a dog can't play basketball. So they go ahead. I like it better than the peeping Tom analogy, so we'll go that way. But do you really want to be the coach that puts in a dog to play basketball? Probably not. You probably don't want to be that coach to do it, even though there's no rule.
Everything you've brought up is a hypothetical situation. Everything. There are no rules in place. They said they can't do it.
No, let me be serious about it, though. There is no rules to do it, though. However, if coaches, and that's kind of Tom Izzo's point, is if coaches just said, hey, we're not doing this, and people didn't do it, then it wouldn't be a thing. Mm-hmm. So, but Pat Kelsey's saying, I get it, but it's allowed. I get that y'all don't like it. I'm going to do it anyways. He's not making any friends.
Yeah. We're getting closer and closer to this just being full-on pro sports. Just another Louisville basketball, Kentucky basketball. These are just other avenues for professional basketball players to go play. So G League, if we're allowing G League players, I don't really have a hard take on this as far as whether it should be illegal or not. But I do think that if you are allowing G League players, like you said, these guys are affiliated with NBA teams. how much longer until NBA guys who aren't panning out, who have maintained, who I guess everybody gets 4 years of eligibility and then a COVID year still? I don't know. Could you have those guys come back? And can SGA have 3 years of eligibility at Kentucky? Can he come back to Kentucky and win an NCAA championship?
And I get what you guys are saying. I completely understand the point that at some point there needs to be rules in place where like this, there's a fine line for this. There's no like loopholes. There's no like, oh well, we found the one player in the G League who still has eligibility left. Let's bring him back. But at this point, I just don't even understand why this is news in terms of like a negative light, because nobody's done anything wrong. College basketball at this point is professional sports already. We're paying these dudes more than NBA rookie contracts. So like if a dude wants to come back, who cares? Like if Mark Pope went out and got him,
it would be fine.
It'd be a complete different opposite. We'd be asking you all that question. It's like, oh well, how we would have, like I'd be asking you all the same question. So I get it.
If Mark Pope brought in this London fella, I would say I wish he didn't bring in.
I would be upset because I don't think he's that good.
I'd say that's a little concerning that you're going to these waters to go get recruits, and I don't want to be the school that's going and getting G League guys. It really isn't all that different than Europe, besides the fact of the upbringing. Hey, in Europe, that's just what you do, and in America, this is not what you do. But you are right that it's not too. I mean, the similarities are there. You're a paid professional. You're a paid professional. Now in college, you're a paid professional. So now it's all even across the board. But I just think it'd be okay for a U of L fan to come out and be like, hey, I love Pat Kelsey, but I kind of agree with everybody. We don't need to be go getting G League players that are at a dead end in their career.
I don't think it's going to happen because, like, it's not like the dude's going to come in and start. He's not going to be this isn't the next Mikael Brown.
All the more reason then why are you doing this?
He's depth. You're getting him on the cheap. You're getting him on the cheap.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're telling me you couldn't go find a transfer that's better than this guy in the transfer portal at the end of this year?
This is the transfer portal.
It's professional basketball. Do you not want the dude with the most experience?
The dude with the most experience is probably in college. He's never played any college basketball. How much experience
basketball
is that?
Player has more basketball experience than a guy who's played professional basketball for 3 years.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a horrible take.
I'll tell you that to your face.
That's a horrible take.
I mean, it's a definitively. It is.
He's played against the 1% of college basketball for 3 years, but you think
he's
a
played against the 1% of college basketball? Who's that?
In the G League.
The G League? Who?
Every player that's moved up from college. How many players in college basketball become accountants afterward?
Very few people that are good college basketball players are living in the G League. They may take a stop in the G League. They may play there for a little bit, but they're going in the NBA.
And he's playing against them.
And he's doing horribly against them.
But he's still playing.
He's still, yeah.
It'd be different if we were paying him $9 million.
You're talking about how experienced somebody is who has zero college basketball experience versus a senior in the transfer portal who's played college basketball for 4 years. Who has more college basketball experience?
I mean, the guy who plays in college basketball.
Okay.
But the NBA and the G League are higher paced. They have more talented players. I'm taking a dude who's played with the highest talent in the world.
He has not. He has not done that. Well, he has not done that.
I'm kind of with you, Matt. Until the best talent in the world.
Okay, in America.
No, he hasn't.
No,
he has.
He hasn't played in the NBA. Producer Matt, he's not going up. He's not going up against Jokic.
College basketball is still more advanced than the G League.
Well, that's a straw man because I never said that to begin. But
in some respects, it kind of is. They get better. I think there are better coaches in college than there are in the G League. Because I think if you were a really good G League coach, there would be a college coach or college program that could pay you a lot more.
Do you think Florida last year could win the G League?
Oh, that is
no.
And do you think the best? And do you think the best G League team would win March Madness NCAA tournament?
Hang on, who won the G League last year?
You can't even name them.
No idea. I don't watch the G League.
The Rio Grande Valley Vipers. That's Isaiah Cannon's old team. Shout out Murray State. Do we have time? Oh wait. That's not the champion.
It's the Stockton Kings.
Can we look up their roster from last year and just see? Okay, Brian Bowen. There's a blast from the past. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to see. This guy's from Connecticut. Dexter Dennis, KJ Jones the second, Gabe Levin from Long Beach State, Bowling Green, Stanford, Austin P. Butler. Yeah, I think Florida could have beaten the Stockton Kings, honestly.
I think so too.
We're just once again another hypothetical you guys are throwing out.
The SEC wins another hypothetical game.
You guys have not yet brung out anything that is definitive proof The dude can't play college basketball.
No, it's not that he can't, and I'm not even mad at Pat Kelsey for doing this. Like,
but okay, hold on. Where can he play college basketball? What makes you say that he can? He failed in the G League, producer Matt.
That doesn't mean he can't play.
No, it doesn't mean he can't play. But he failed in the G League. Otherwise, he'd still be in the G League. If he did really, really well in the G League, where do you think he'd be going?
He'd be in the NBA.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be running back to college basketball.
So what we're doing
so why is he running back to college basketball?
Wait,
hold on. No. I'll control the conversation real quick. But why is he going back to college basketball?
Because he wants another shot.
Why does he want another shot?
It's a better route to the NBA.
No, I mean, he definitively said that wasn't the case about 3 years earlier. But I would say there's no better way to the NBA than going against this great competition in the G League, right? He's already there.
Not true.
The answer you're looking for is he's going back to college because he failed in the G League. He's not good enough to play in the G League.
How good was Jacob Toppin at Kentucky?
Jacob Toppin at Kentucky was a solid role player.
Solid role player. He's averaging 23 points per game last season in the G League.
Yeah, it doesn't help your case there, producer Matt.
Okay.
He's 37% from threes.
I can't believe you're putting so many eggs in the London Johnson basket.
I'm not putting any.
You're the one
putting the eggs in it.
You were putting the eggs in it.
I literally said,
I'm saying
this dude is going to come in and be a depth
I'm
piece.
saying it's twofold. One, it's embarrassing to go get a G League player at a dead end with nowhere else to go. And then two, I'm saying he's just not good to begin with. And I think you're arguing more with me on number two that he actually will be good as a depth piece.
I think he'll be a depth piece. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to come out and be the star of the team. He might be the 6th or 7th man. But, like, he's a depth piece who wants a better route to the NBA. It hasn't worked out with him in the G League. And Louisville's willing to bring him in, so who cares?
I wonder how much
I can't get behind a better route to the NBA when he is in the NBA association. He's in the NBA
He's going to have eyes on him to
association.
possibly get drafted.
He's there. He's with the people that are drafted.
The only difference is that he can get paid a lot of money to go play for Louisville or whatever they're willing to pay. And I don't know if this is a career path to the NBA for him more than it is just like I get to go. I'm sure you get paid more now in college than you do the G League.
Yeah, that's wild. It's like saying like you are approaching a destination, but you need to go all the way backwards so you can actually get to the destination.
Sometimes you got to go back. So
He's there. He's there. He couldn't make it, so he's just kind of crawling back to the only other option he's got, and that's college basketball. And Pat Kelsey welcomed him, and other coaches aren't too happy about it. But we'll see. That's going to be a fun one. Hopefully we're still doing radio during the London Johnson era at U of L. All right, we're going to take our first commercial break. Come back, get to your text on the Game Day Men's Health text line. UK does have a football game this week. Peak already mentioned the exhibition game against Purdue. It's a big, big sports weekend. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Kentucky Roll Call, Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Let's go to the Game Day Men's Health text line if you're feeling sluggish, slow, anything going on in your life, 502-414-1450. Game Day
slow.
Blinking slow. Game Day Men's Health is going to take care of you. They're redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. They are defining a new era in men's health. Even if you've been in the G League, but you need an extra little oomph, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered. A texter says, TJ's back has to be hurting from moving these goalposts around. Where did I move the goalposts? Grasping at straws, TJ, you've defended this if this was UK. I would 100% not. I mean, I just wouldn't.
Another hypothetical.
What if Reed Shepherd came back? Sophomore season.
What goalpost did I move, Producer Matt?
I'm just making a joke. You were just making a bunch of different takes, and we were going back and forth.
No, I know, but I would not defend this if this was UK. I am not some blind homer butt slapper. If UK does something that I don't like, I call it out. If they added a recruit that I didn't think would help, I would call it out. I would have no issue with that. I don't think London Johnson is a good player, and I think the fact that it's a G League thing, I'm not outraged by that. You're killing the game of basketball. The amateur athletics, as we know it, is long
It's
dead.
over.
I mean, it is long dead. So I don't care. Do whatever you want that's within the rules. If it's not in the rules, do it anyways, but just don't get caught. And if you do get caught, you got to deal with the circumstances. But you're exactly right. UofL's not breaking any rules for the first time in a long time. This is allowed. What they're doing is allowed. People don't like it, and that's all right. People are entitled to their opinion. And then it just comes down to time will tell. If London Johnson's good, then Producer Matt, you can come back and say, you were kind of ripping when they brought him in. And then if he ends up being Cheeks, well, then
I'll say, he was Cheeks.
He was Cheeks. We probably shouldn't have brought in a busted G League player, perhaps. But I did not move any goalposts throughout that conversation. Another texter says, did Producer Matt eat a lot of paint chips when he was a kid? Classic quote.
I did not. I grew up after lead paint was not a thing anymore.
There you go.
He also said, that same texter said, Louisville golf team just signed Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, a nice addition
Yeah,
for the U of L
thank
golf.
God.
Good.
Yeah.
How come
They've been needing to win.
How come TJ's Tom Izzo sounds like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings?
You do it again?
Defense, go in. You just got to play.
Yeah, it's pretty good Smeagol.
Yeah, thank you. Give me the ring. Haven't had one since 2000. I'm talking
Nice. Was that with Mateen Cleaves?
I'm overrated. It was. I've been to a bunch of Final Fours, but I never really do anything in the Final Fours except lose.
He did win my favorite Michigan State win, 2009 Elite Eight.
Oh, against the Cards, right?
Against the Cardinals. That Louisville team. That's one of Rick Pitino's biggest failures, was not taking that Louisville team to the Final Four.
Old T. Will and Earl Clark, right?
Yeah, DC.
Yeah.
E5.
Juan
T.
Taylor,
Will.
Placios.
I was at that game.
You were at that game?
Yes.
Where was it?
That was in Detroit. Or no, that was the Detroit was Final Four.
Final Four.
That was in Indianapolis?
Yeah, it was close by. I had some
I
friends.
think it was
go to
Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think it was Indy.
Detroit was the Final Four that year.
Indianapolis.
I think Michigan State banked in a 3 at one point, and it was like,
where you just kind of knew it wasn't.
yeah, like,
like,
oh, thank you. I was running around the house because that was when Kentucky basketball was just. I think we were playing in the NIT that year.
Hey, Jody Meeks, he was balling out though. Nobody can ever take that away from us.
No,
Producer Matt, I won't cheer against U of L. You don't have to worry about that. Peak will, I won't. I've got a wife that's a U of L fan, so I got to keep the peace.
I'll cheer against UK, so we'll even it out.
My wife's family.
No,
is
you're not.
fans,
You're not supposed to, buddy.
I've gotten too accustomed to pulling against Louisville. They're my second favorite team. Anyone who plays the Cards.
Oh, I don't root for U of L. Make no mistake about that. I don't care about the old Cards.
I was talking to Scoots the other day. You know, he was asking me about how the show's been. This was the other day. It was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Talking about Scooter Dingus?
Yes, and we were
7
talking
to 8.
about
Sunrise with Scooter Dingus.
Exactly. And then we were talking about Peak being on the show, and I was like, I really like Peak being on the show because we're kind of both really similar in terms that we're fans first. And I try and come in with as little bias as possible, but at some point, I'm a Louisville fan at heart, and Peak's a Kentucky fan at heart. It's just how it is.
It's gonna make it fun when the season gets going.
I can't wait till they play each other.
November 11th. Yeah. It is not far away. Today is October 22nd. That's crazy to think. What are you going to do if UK beats U of L down 2 starters? Will you cry?
30 days away.
I won't cry.
You won't cry?
It's too early in the season for me to care.
It can't be 30 days away from the basketball game.
No, it's not. Sorry, I looked at the wrong thing. My bad.
not great at math, but I think
No,
20,
that's pretty bad.
20 days?
It's 20 days.
Okay,
My bad.
That seems.
I did how many days, and it gave me how many days in November. And then yeah. So
That Trinity education for you over there.
no, yeah, it didn't pay off there.
502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line. It is on and popping today. Last comment on this. You started from Louisville should feel bad about themselves for contributing to this avenue from the G League to London Johnson isn't good. Producer Matt talked sense into you through regarding the rules, so I'm fine here. No, they should feel bad about it. They're eating in the trash. It's legal to eat in the trash, but they're doing it. It's just gross. People are looking at them. People are commenting on it, and people are disgusted by it. If U of L's cool with being the trash can eater, if they like being the booger eater at school, the kid that eats their boogers, it's, we'll let it slide.
Well, it's like
But it's not a good look, and people are talking.
Santa Clara doing it is one thing, and I agree. Even though Louisville hasn't had a good basketball run in about a decade,
Santa Clara did it. Santa Clara did it.
it does set sort of a precedent. One of the a team from the ACC is taking G League players. It's gonna make it to where now more. That's an avenue that colleges will look at.
Does Wacky Wednesday is going to the G League more appealing now? Go to the G League, get some money, play against the best. If the NBA wants you, bada boom, bada bing.
Good point.
Well,
And then you can always just
appealing like 5 or 6 years ago. That's why like LaMelo Ball went overseas.
There was a guy from Syracuse, right, that was going to go to Syracuse, and then he went to the G League instead.
No, UK lost a recruit, a power forward, not too long ago, who's now in the NBA. His Jaden Hardy, he wasn't the big guy, but didn't Jaden Hardy go G League?
Looking that up.
I think that's accurate. And then there was not Caleb Wilson.
Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, and Isaiah Todd. All skipped
Isaiah Todd, who's who else?
college to go to the G League.
Yeah. But you're right. This is another avenue. You can go to the G League. Doesn't work out after a year. All right, I'll go to college.
But producer Matt, unlike London Johnson, I think those players were good, so they ended up going to the NBA, right?
They were successful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, do whatever you want. I just thought Pat Kelsey and U of L's program was a little above the Kenny Payne days, but apparently that is not the case. 502-414-1450. What is the latest with UK basketball? They play Purdue tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I wish it was tomorrow, but Friday, 7 o'clock, Rupp Arena, exhibition game, totally meaningless to the record, but I know there's going to be a major overreaction when Kentucky ends up playing that game. Sports Illustrated had 3 bold predictions for Kentucky's exhibition against Purdue. Do we want to hear them?
Yes.
The first prediction. Producer Matt, I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree with it, okay?
Okay.
You can play your own little game of true or false. Otega Oweh outplays Braden Smith.
Whoa.
It's bold.
That's why these are 3 bold takes. They're not 3 italics takes.
Pretty good.
I'll agree with it.
He says the writer, who is Andrew Stefanak, says that Purdue has a superstar point guard and Braden Smith. I mean, anything with SI, they just really don't want you to read their article.
I'm on it right now.
Dude, it is crazy the amount of ads and how much it shoots up. I'm trying to help you out, SI, okay? Help me help you. No, it's going to make it unreadable. Anytime you scroll down, it just shoots back up with more ads.
Just wait till the AI swimsuit edition comes out.
The AI swimsuit, the SI AI swimsuit edition.
That'll be good.
I like the ring of it. It's got a good tone. Purdue has a superstar point guard in Braden Smith, who many consider to be the best player in college basketball. Kentucky has a star of its own in Otega Oweh, who wants to show the world that he should be in the same conversation as Smith. Purdue isn't all that athletic, which means Oweh can play his game, slash into the rim at a high level. If Kentucky's going to win this game without Lowe and Quaintance, Oweh will need to outplay Smith on both ends of the floor. All right, I'm not sold with the reasoning, just because Oweh is also a good basketball player, and Purdue isn't overly athletic, which isn't totally true for what it's worth. All right, so I'm not sold on that. Now, this is, okay. All right. True or false, producer Matt? I think this just headline is littered with things we could poke at. Malachi Moreno has a breakout game. Can you have a breakout game when you've never had a game?
No.
Would any one game be a breakout game for anybody since it's the only game?
The only game? Yeah. Yeah, that does.
Breaking out the womb.
The writer says, Quayton's still out with an ACL tear. The two players who are going to see a lot of playing time at center, Brandon Garrison and Malachi Moreno. Owe talked about how much he has been impressed by Moreno, and this could be a breakout game for the freshman in the Bluegrass State. Purdue has some elite bigs, so Moreno's going to have his hands full of the first college game. If Moreno has a good game, it'll go a long way with confidence with fans to win big games while Quayton's rehabs. All right, again, I'm just not overly convinced with the reasoning of why you're telling me Moreno will have a big game, besides the fact that he just exists as a human.
That's really all they're saying. Now, I will say we had sources say last night, we had Sean Smith and Spencer Smith on the show, two coaches, two Coach Smiths on the same show.
That's a lot of Smith.
And we had Tubby Smith on like 2 weeks ago. Okay, anyway, we had full of Coach Smiths over there, sources say. But they both said it looks like Malachi is way ahead of where they thought he would be. It just from watching the pro day stuff and the blue-white, so not a ton of not a ton to go through there, but this that they like what they've seen out of Malachi Moreno. And yeah, Brandon Garrison's probably going to get the start, but Malachi is showing enough right now that you feel like with those two guys, you can get over Jaden Quinn's being out for a little bit.
I think so, and I've talked yesterday that I'm excited about Malachi. He's got a huge frame. I think he's going to be a good piece. I don't think he has a breakout game against Purdue, but I could see a scenario where more people are like, oh, should he start over Brandon? I don't think he's going to dominate the game against Purdue. That would be a total surprise to me. A breakout game for your first game, that's asking a lot. But I do think he has these flashes in the Purdue game and the Georgetown game 6 days later. Early in the season, we'll see things from Malachi Moreno that will say, oh, man, that what could be. He's got as much potential as just about anybody else on UK's roster. Then the third bold prediction from Sports Illustrated, Denzel Aberdeen puts up massive numbers at point guard with Jalen Lowe out. So Malachi Moreno has a breakout game. Otega Owe outplays Braden Smith, and Denzel Aberdeen puts up massive numbers at point guard. True or false, producer Matt?
True.
Wow, you're agreeing with the Sports Illustrated article.
I mean, I think that Kentucky's going to be really good this season. I think that they're probably better than Purdue. I don't believe in Purdue just yet. I don't really believe in Matt Painter. But at the same time, with Kentucky's injuries, like a lot of their heavy lifting is going to come from transfers and, younger guys besides Otega Owe, who's still dealing with a turf toe. I mean, there's the possibility, like you said, they're just kind of saying words. They're just like, well, Denzel Aberdeen's going to have a big game because this guy's not going to have a big game.
Can I say also that the same author wrote 3 reasons why Purdue is going to win, and the third one is Jalen Lowe's loss is felt on offense? Basically saying that Denzel Aberdeen running the one is not going to do it.
That also sounds like us saying, like, KRC is not going to be the same today because there's 2 people instead of 3 people.
Like, factually, it's just
factually not the same.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay, so Andrew's got his bases covered.
Yes.
All right, which one out of those 3 do you think is most likely? Because honestly, the buzzwords are getting me on all of them. Breakout game for Malachi Moreno.
That one's definitely not it.
Massive numbers for Denzel Aberdeen. And then pretty normal wording with Otega Owe outplays Braden Smith.
I mean, Otega Owe and Braden Smith play different positions, so I really don't know what outplay will look like. I mean, I guess he'll have better stats. Maybe he'll score more points.
So here's the deal. I disagree with this writer on all 3 accounts. I will be shocked if Otega Owe outplays Braden Smith. I think they'll play each other even. Like, we're both have good games in their own little.
Right.
In the Braden Smith world, he has a good game, and Otega Owe, he has a good game.
Yeah.
But let's call it what it is, folks. And I know this dude's super competitive, but Owe hasn't been playing basketball for the last 2 months for the most part.
Yeah.
They're not going to put him out there and have him play 40 minutes where you're going to just absolutely be wowed by this guy. And honestly, Otega Owe is at his best when he's not usually forcing it. Now, in the Oklahoma games, we had to have him force it because it was kind of desperate times, called for desperate measure situation, and he answered the call. But usually Otega is just a piece of the puzzle, and it's just the most beautiful piece, or it's the hardest piece to figure out if you're an opposing defense. So I don't think he's going to outplay Braden Smith, at least enough where you're saying he was the preseason All-American Player of the Year and Otega Owe wasn't on first team. What? I don't think we'll have that. So I disagree with that one. Malachi Moreno, from a breakout game, just by the wording of it, I think he has a good game. I think he's okay, but it'll be like 8-5. or something like that.
Mhm.
Or it'll be like 6 and 7, 6 points, 7 rebounds,
Yeah.
maybe a few blocks that you get excited about. So out of these three, the most likely, in my opinion, is Denzel Aberdeen puts up massive numbers. Because I could see him having like 21 points and all of us being like, oh, I didn't realize that dude could score as much as he could. Because he's really never been in a role where he's been told, hey, go score the ball. But when he started for Florida last year in very limited time, the Florida offense was universally better with Denzel. Well, I shouldn't say better. Their numbers were better. Obviously, they won the national championship with him not starting. So it's tough to say that you're a better team than a title team. But their offensive numbers did improve when Denzel Aberdeen was a starter. So maybe I could see him putting up a lot of points for Kentucky, thus making that one, I think, the most true and maybe the most surprising to some people.
I think the most points he put up last year for Florida, looking at this, was 22 versus South Carolina. That was following a 20-point performance against
that was that little
Mississippi
stretch.
State.
That was that little stretch where he was
He
starting.
only hit 20 twice last year.
I think that maybe changes on Friday, or at least it wouldn't surprise me. Massive game. All right, hour number 2, and Jacob Polachek from KentuckySportsRadio.com coming up next on Kentucky Roll Call with Stephen Peak, producer Matt. I'm TJ Walker. and Polachek. It's Wednesday. He's joining us for hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Get those texts into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. They are redefining men's wellness. And want to let everybody know, on Friday, we are going to be out at Hoopsters in Jeffersonville. Come out and say hello to us. I think that'll be Peak's first remote as being officially part of Kentucky Roll Call, so you can come out and bully him in person if you feel the need. But that's going to be Hoopsters on Friday in Jeffersonville, and then November 13th we'll be at 5 Iron Golf out in Nulu. So November 13th, 2 days after that UK U of L game. But before then, this Friday, Hoopsters, we've got it up on the YouTube page. You can also see Jacob. Jacob is wearing 3 hats. He has now just taken off 2 of them, so he's just down to the one hat.
Uncomfortable.
I was having like a full-on conversation with him during the commercial break with him wearing 3 hats on, but now he's just wearing the one. Jacob, thank you for joining us. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
Good. Now we're second time, so I guess the first time went well enough that you're back, so we're very thankful for that and appreciative for your time. Before the text line brings it up, if they haven't already, then I'll bring it up to you. Give us a mice update, a meese update. What's up with the little rodents?
Before I say something, Orkin is not a sponsor of this show.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, after this, I don't think they will be.
Oh, did you have problems with Orkin also? Because I had issues.
Oh, we can have an Orkin bashing session.
They're terrible. They came out to my house, and they gave me an estimate for about $7,000 of work.
Nice.
So I went to some other companies naturally, and they said, one, Orkin didn't do anything in your house for that initial, whatever, a couple $100, and the $7,000 they could get done in $1,200. So
wow.
I am not a fan of Orkin, unless you guys want to sponsor Here Comes the Boom. After this, I don't think you will. And so now I'm going with another company, and we're getting it done, but if next week we haven't made progress, then we're in trouble.
But in the meantime, you're just having to live with your little 4-legged friends.
Yes. I'm living with, well, now I'm staying with my girlfriend in Lexington and living with my other 4-legged friend, my dog, in Lexington.
Did you drive in here today for this?
Well, I wanted to go check on the house as well, so it kills 2 birds with 1 stone, which...
And the house is gone. The mouse have overtaken it. There's no house left for Jacob Polachek to go home to anymore.
Yeah, just I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend for putting up with me staying at her house for a long time because, my house is not looking too good right now.
Oof. That sucks. I actually called Orkin to get rid of some bugs, and then it was supposed to be like a one-time thing, and next thing they've charged me month after month after month, and I had to keep calling and be like, What are we doing? I don't need the service anymore. It was actually, we thought we had like carpenter ants, and they came and looked like, no, that's just like that's not what that is. Not that big of a deal. We'll spray, and then you'll be fine. And then they kept trying to come back every month, and it was like a 14-month contract. They said, I was like, what? What do you mean? I thought there was no issue. Anyway, so yeah, Orkin's got some making up to do.
I used a different bug service and don't use them anymore, but they did a good job. I just thought they were like a little pricey. And then I was starting to see centipedes in the basement. And so I called them and I was like, oh, and we got like a few lizards in the house, just your casual lizard in the house. You know how it goes. And I was like, hey, we found a few lizards in our house, which is probably on us just leaving the door open. But if there's anything you can do about that, cool. But more so, we are noticing more centipedes. And they came back, and they were just like, sorry, your coverage does not include centipedes or lizards. I was like, what?
What coverage?
Why? Like, I thought you said bugs. Like, a centipede is very much a bug. All right, if we want to go with a lizard is a reptile, okay. Maybe you can draw the line on no reptiles. But a centipede absolutely has to be covered with this. And they were like, sorry, man, you're not on, like, the million leg plan.
It's actually not a bug or an insect. They're called don't make me say this. Somebody else look it up.
Okay.
How would you say that, Jacob? You're a little smarter than me.
Myriapoda.
Oh yeah, the good old fashioned Myriapoda family.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
My girlfriend's she's studying bugs at UK, so
Wait, are you serious?
Really?
She's an entomology grad student.
All right, we'll have her call in.
Studying all these bugs.
I couldn't think of anything more random. So just
have
thinking
her
of
call
bugs.
in and explain it to us.
Yeah, she'll do that. I will say that when Orkin came, they did say, there's more than mice droppings that we found. Up in the attic, they found larger droppings that would suggest a raccoon, a possum, something.
The old Kentucky roll call host Nick Roush, he used to have raccoons living in his house, so you could maybe reach out to him for some advice.
I might have to shoot him a text, see if he can come by.
He knows a thing or two about raccoons where they're not supposed to be. I think he had a family possums live in his house for about 2 years.
Wow, that's
They
nice.
became
That's
pets.
nice of them to let them stay there.
They might be living there forever. I don't know how long they've been there, but until I see one crawl across my kitchen, I'm dealing with the mice right now. We'll deal with those guys later.
One thing at a time, Jacob.
Yeah, maybe the issue is the possums were taking care of the mice problem. Is that possible? Now you got rid of the opossum.
It's one bug after another. Jacob, our Green Bay Packers got a win, although very dicey
Where's your
game on Sunday.
Oh, do I gotta change my hat?
You don't have to change your hat. You don't have to change your hat. But that was nerve-wracking. The decision to go for it on 4th and 2 there did not make sense to me, but it worked out. So I'm not a huge Matt LaFleur fan, but that one.
Did they try sneaking it?
Did they try sneaking it? No,
on 4th and 2?
They threw a 25-yard pass play.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I thought you might want to sneak in on 4th and 2.
No.
That's a bad idea?
No. My Packers, they got the win, but the Kentucky Wildcats football did not. Did you have any takes on that game Saturday night, Jacob?
I have had people text me that they see some similarities between LaFleur and Mark Stoops. I'm not,
especially in the looks department. I mean, both are lookers.
Yes.
It's a mirror image of one another, as a matter of fact, when you see those two, Mark Stoops and Matt LaFleur.
And when Kentucky got down to it in that fourth quarter when they were going for the tie, for the field goal, it's near identical twins. When Kentucky was going down to tie at the end of regulation, I had some flashbacks to that Dallas game where LaFleur went for that, whatever that pass was, risking it with basically no time left on the clock. So I actually liked the decision to kick the field goal there.
Yeah, I just think you need to run a play with 14 seconds left and take a shot at it. But no, it was more so the lack of creativity from the 3-yard line in overtime. Yeah. I get running up the middle. I get running up the middle twice even, and potentially even 3 times. But I don't think you can just do very similar plays 4 straight times, which didn't work, obviously. None of them worked, and Kentucky got a loss, and back at it again against Tennessee on Saturday night.
So, Jacob, we bring you in to talk about some recruiting. Do you have any update? Josh Irving set to make his announcement.
Yeah, so there's been a couple commitments this week. Kentucky was a hat on a table earlier this week. Irving's committing, is it tomorrow or Friday?
Tomorrow morning at noon Pacific time.
Okay. All right.
Wait,
noon Eastern time. 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So he's committing right when we're coming on the air tomorrow. We're still waiting on Stokes. So what is the latest since we last spoke with you on some of these recruitments?
Yeah, so I'll start from the beginning because you had 2 commitments earlier this week, Anthony Thompson and Bryson Howard. Anthony Thompson, he ended up committing to, I believe it was Ohio State, which wasn't a big surprise. It really seemed like it was Ohio State or Indiana in that one. Kentucky hosted him for like 3 visits throughout his recruitment, but never really seemed to get a lot of traction there. So that one didn't come as a surprise that he didn't choose Kentucky. And then you had Bryson Howard, who committed to Duke yesterday. That one I saw as a little bit more of a miss for Kentucky. That one, they got him on campus for an official visit. They were really pushing towards the end, but it's really hard to beat Duke in a recruitment. John Shire's done an excellent job recruiting over there. So he chose Duke, and then you've got Josh Irving, who's down to Kentucky, Louisville, and Texas A&M. And I put on the KS board yesterday that I would give A&M a slight edge right now, but I know that there's conversations happening. He's trying to make that decision, and Kentucky really likes him.
So Kentucky really wants him, but they might lose him to Texas A&M?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how much they really want him, but they want him enough that they got him on an OV, and
they've offered him.
And they're in that top 3. They haven't pulled out of the recruitment. So, this is a player that I would say Kentucky wants. And
Josh Irving, the 6'10", 200-pound big man from California.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
him
Okay.
at a
4-star, is that the consensus?
Yeah, he's a 4-star, and he, like, now Rivals has him as a top 40 kid in the class, but going into the summer, he was more of a 3-star, fringe top 100 player, so he rose a lot over the summer, and that's when Kentucky offered him and started to get involved.
So why is it? Should I be concerned as a Kentucky fan that they're not landing these guys? I mean, Josh Irving, they could still get him. We'll find out tomorrow at noon. We'll find out in about 23 hours, but if they don't get him, is there a reason to be concerned, or is this just the coaching staff really not prioritizing the high school players, or what is it?
Yeah, I don't want to say be concerned before he's even made his decision. Like, I don't want to hit the panic button and then he commits.
That's what we do. We live on the panic button.
But I would say that they are really putting all their eggs in the Tyron Stokes basket. And I think that if they land Stokes, nobody's going to care about them missing on Bryson Howard, Anthony Thompson, any of these guys. If you don't land Stokes, the longer he drags out this decision, more guys are on the are going off the board, and you're like, all right, who else do we have? And you can always use the transfer portal as hey, we didn't land our high school guys, but we can just land who we want in the transfer portal. And I don't think Kentucky will ever have just a bad team coming in, but that's not to excuse any sort of misses that they may have on the recruiting trail.
Well, you had mentioned that Bryson Howard was a miss. When he committed to Duke, and I think he was down to Duke, UNC, and UK, which is as blue blood as it gets for a Final Three, and he picks Duke. To be honest, and I don't cover it at all anymore, and I keep up with it from a radio standpoint, but I hadn't really even heard UK and his name mentioned all that much, just besides slightly. So this was a late push by UK. They really wanted Bryson Howard and just couldn't get him.
So Howard was a guy that was basically not on anyone's radar heading into the EYBL season. Kentucky first started getting in touch with him after that Memphis session, which was the first live period. And then they really started to make him a priority after Peach Jam. They were firmly in that top 3 with Duke and UNC. And talking to my sources, they were pushing till the end. This wasn't one where they kind of backed off and conceded to Duke. They really wanted him. And but like I said, it's hard to beat John Shire on the recruiting trail. He's basically landed everyone he's wanted over the past few years.
Yeah, that really stinks. But we talked about it in the first hour. Kentucky able to? Is there an advantage to? I don't know, if you don't get some of these freshmen, that you can at least sign younger transfers, sign sophomores in the transfer portal?
Yeah, I think that you have that. You don't risk a Caden Lewis type situation happening where you have a really talented guard and then you see a guy in the portal and it draws those guys away. And then Kentucky also has an advantage of having a team very unlike last year's team where you have a ton of guys that are likely to come back. Mm-hmm. So that's a double-edged sword where, you have a lot of your roster for next year already set in stone, but that could drive away some recruits.
We're so used to signing 4 or 5 freshmen. We have to maybe get used to getting maybe one or 2 freshmen.
And like I talked about last week, with Stokes, you are dedicating so much of your NIL budget to one guy that it's going to be hard to land a 4 or 5 man recruiting class if you get Tyron Stokes. You're likely only going to have a 2 to 3 man class. Where
does Kentucky stand with Tyron Stokes? I know you said you liked where they were last week.
Yeah, it seems like Kentucky is the leader, that it's not changing. Nobody's willing to come out and be like, something big's happened. So it just comes back down to what is the holdup? What is keeping this from being official?
Too, yeah.
Yeah, I will say it has gone quiet across the board. I haven't heard any schools really feel confidence, and I still, talking to my sources, still have confidence in Kentucky's chances with Stokes. I will say, I think that, like I talked about last week, he is a guy that wants to control the narrative. He did not like when that Friday commitment date came out based on the conversations I had. So I think that he wants to do this on his own terms and commit when he wants to commit. So who knows when that could be. I still expect it to happen before the early signing period, but nothing would surprise me in this recruitment.
why?
Yeah, that makes me a
is
little
it
bit nervous
taking-
hearing nothing would surprise you in this recruitment, a recruitment that you've covered so thoroughly throughout it, for you to come back and just be like, yeah, everything looks good one way, but if it all goes up in smoke, it wouldn't surprise me. That, as somebody that used to cover this, worries me, because it means that it's almost like they're waiting for a grenade to come in and blow this thing up.
I think Kentucky's done a good job in this recruitment to set themselves up, but at the end of the day, you're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids, and you can only do so much. It's going to come at their own decision, and he's got a lot of schools that really want him, a lot of schools that are still pushing hard for his recruitment. So I like where Kentucky stands, but there's nothing certain in recruiting.
I could just see Tyron Stokes being the kid who everybody thinks I'm going to Kentucky, so I'm just going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, because you all are all saying that's what I'm going to
Yeah.
do. I nearly did that for my placement test as an 8th grader.
Okay.
I hadn't made my mind up, and I was going to just let my mom know in the morning. And
Did you have hats out on the table?
No hats out on the table,
Okay.
but I was just being dramatic for dramatic's sake.
Yeah.
This is 2003 or 2004. And it was the morning of the placement test, and my mom's like, all right, so where are you going? I was like, Mom, I don't know really where I want to go, because you take this placement test in December for the next August. So, you have plenty of time to change your mind, and a lot of people do. And I was like, but Mom, I think, why don't you just take me to Trinity? I'll take it there, and then I'll reconsider. She was
Could have
like,
been a great decision, TJ.
She said, the Shipleys are actually picking you up, and they're going to St. X, so you just actually take it there, and then if you want to switch, we can switch. And I was like, you're not even taking me to my placement test? Because you're in 8th grade, you can't drive yourself. It's like,
That's true.
But what? She was like, well, no, I was going to, but they are driving. They offered. I just thought it'd be easy for them to take it. I was like, I had no say in this matter whatsoever. I was like, this is all just a bunch of BS. But very happy it all worked out the way that it did.
We talked last week about my hair in college. A lot of that was people were telling me, when are you going to cut your hair? When are you going to cut your hair? And I was like, you know what? I can control my hair. I can be the one that decides this. I'm not going to cut it for 6 months, for a year, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do this on my own terms.
And then just on a whim, you did do it, because that's what guys do. So we can see what Stokes is going through
Right
here.
here. Going for the Jacob Polachek playbook right now.
When are you gonna do it? You're gonna do it on Friday. He's gonna do it Friday. He's gonna do it this Friday. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it this Friday just because you guys are telling me.
So,
to do it this
okay,
Friday.
Tyron, I don't expect you to commit today at all.
No.
That's not happening.
And you could really stick it to Polachek and the recruiting guru.
no
if
chance
you,
that
if you
happens.
committed in the next 6 to 12 hours. Yeah, it'd be pretty insane, Tyron. All right, so it's still looking good there. Producer Matt's going to kill me for doing another hypothetical. But let's say that there is a scenario where Stokes does just, you know what? Everybody thinks I'm zigging. I'm actually going to zag. You mentioned how Kentucky, the buzzword is whiff, but you mentioned how it's not looking good for Irving, at least where things are today. You mentioned how they had Anthony Thompson on campus a lot, but ultimately he goes to Ohio State. Bryson Howard they could have potentially had, but it is tough to beat Duke. So could you see a situation where Stokes doesn't pick Kentucky and then UK says, oh, crap, now we really got to scramble, and what would that plan look like?
Yeah, I see it in a few different ways, because you can look at the positional way of filling that spot positionally, and then you look at it at the NIL way of okay, we're dedicating this amount of NIL towards Stokes. Where are we going to put all that NIL money? And if you're looking at it the NIL way, the natural pivot to me would be Caleb Holt, top 5 player in the country. He's a very different player than Tyron Stokes, but I think that he's as comparable as you can get NIL-wise in this class. I still think Stokes is far and away the highest NIL cost, but that's that's the first name that would pop in my head. And then as far as positionally, the two guys that I'd look at are Christian Collins and Baba Oladotun. Collins both of those guys have been on campus. Baba was on campus this past weekend for the blue-white game. He's got Virginia Tech really hard on him. Maryland, Arkansas is a school to watch there. So he could be a natural pivot. And then Christian Collins, it's kind of gone quiet with him. He had a lot of Kentucky buzz heading out of the summer. And then it's just, I think all of that Stokes buzz kind of quieted things with Christian Collins. So if Stokes were to go elsewhere, he'd be another name to watch.
You got Christian Collins, Oladotun, and who was the other one? Caleb Holt. And these are all, according to different different outlets, these are 5-star players. So it's not like, Kentucky's not in the running for some of the top players in this class. But do you think that these guys are also waiting for a Tyron Stokes commitment to kind of see? I know you mentioned before that will cause some other dominoes to fall once Stokes does make his decision.
Yeah, I think Collins is definitely in that boat of waiting to see what happens. Holt, I have heard that there's no real rush on the timeline. He's taken a lot of visits, and he's enjoying the process. Baba, that one is interesting. He's taken a visit to Arkansas this weekend, and I haven't really heard of too many other schools that he's planning to visit, so that one could move quickly. But I do think that guys want to see what Kentucky has to offer, and they really won't see that until Stokes makes a decision.
We talked a lot about it in hour one. Oh, by the way, Trilly's coming out with a Josh Irvin Texas A&M prediction as of this exact moment. So Jacob Polachek on Kentucky Roll Call says he likes A&M's chances, and I guess Trilly was listening.
Was he? I mean, did he put it out just now?
Just put it out.
Wow.
It literally just came out when I said
Did you tell Trilly you were going to be on the show? You know him personally.
Are you Trilly? What was Trilly's name again?
Trilly Donovan? What's his real name?
Zach Gagan?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Zach Gagan. Well, so we know Zach Gagan's listening.
Oh, shoot. He didn't want me to say that. Okay. Is this live?
We'll edit that part out.
Pretty sure, man, you dropped that, right?
Yeah, I got the dump button ready to go.
There you go. Nobody heard that.
No, that Trilly is saying Josh Irving to A&M. So,
He might be a KS Sports subscriber.
no doubt about it. It's worth its money.
I'm sure he is, actually.
You need to do that for all the good information that Jacob and Jack and Adam Luckett, definitely not Roush. Peak is doing good work over at KS Board, but all those guys put in a lot of great work. But according to Jacob Polachek, a bit of a miss. Josh Irving going to A&M, somebody that Kentucky wanted and was unable to, for whatever reason, get it done. It almost seemed like it was kind of like an arms length, like, yeah, we want you. All right, well, then commit to me. Yeah, we will, but didn't totally do it. A&M, I guess, willing to do it.
That's one where if you don't want to give off the impression of missing on him, then you got to distance yourself before he puts out a top 3 a week before the commitment.
Yeah, I've kind of been a little bit frustrated with Kentucky on this. And there's TJ, you've worked in this realm before.
Hat on the table.
There are times when
another notch in the belt.
Yeah, there are times when I feel like the coaching staff should be leaking out that, hey, we're not pursuing this guy as hard as other schools are, just so that it's not, oh, the Whiff King strikes again.
Yeah, I've never been on a college staff, so I don't want to tell any college coaches how to do their job, but I do think that they could probably do a better job of controlling that narrative.
Yes, because I don't know if it hurts you in other recruiting. I don't know that it does, but it definitely does. It hurts you with your fans who would just see, oh, we were in this guy's Final 3 and we didn't get him. Okay, we were in this guy's Final 5 and didn't get him. We've been recruiting this guy. We offered this player. We thought, and we had people who were in the know say that this guy's coming to Kentucky. Oh, now he's not. And I've said this before. I'm not getting too upset about it because, Kentucky's got a top 10 team this year.
Yeah.
So why would I get too concerned about the recruiting? But there are fans who are saying, okay, yeah, we got 2 good recruits last year, or a few good recruits last year, but a couple of them were from the state of Kentucky. Can we get a big name that's outside of the state? Do we have that capability? Obviously, I think Pope and the staff does, but what is it that is causing them to miss on these guys? I know you may not know for sure, but we can speculate, I guess.
Yeah, and it's hard to say. Obviously, Josh Irving has not committed anywhere yet. So, I really don't want to hype this up as Kentucky misses on Josh Irving, and then we get to noon tomorrow, and
because people will be very mean to you.
Putting on his Kentucky hat. So he has not made his decision yet. We will have to see what decision he makes. But Kentucky, it's all about messaging, and if you have no messaging, the messaging is there's gonna be talk about Kentucky basketball recruiting no matter what. And if you're not controlling the narrative, then whatever the narrative is controls you. Because
we have the money, TJ. The way I understand in the past you had to really sell the program. I feel like Mark Pope does a decent job of that in selling the vision. We play a fun, exciting brand of basketball. It's Kentucky. It's the biggest, and you got the money. Why should recruiting be a struggle. And again, we don't know. Josh Irving could pick Kentucky.
That's where I'm at, and it's not great for sports talk radio, but I'll worry when Mark Pope gives me a reason to worry.
That's where I've been.
And Josh Irving going to A&M isn't enough reason for me to worry.
I totally agree with that.
I'll worry when they're sniffing around failed G League players.
That's another. Can we go get? What's the best G League player that's not good enough to go to the NBA? We'll get him.
I did want to get your opinion on that because we talked a lot about it in hour one. U of L's commitment of London Johnson. It's within the rules. You do whatever you want. I do think that's just it's weird to college athletics, but it is what it is. I just think he's not that good of a player, and producer Matt, a U of L fan, does disagree. He thinks he'll be a good role player for U of L. What did you make of that addition, both just from Pat Kelsey adding a piece to the puzzle next year? He's actually going to be a mid-year enrollee, but is not going to play this year. And then the idea that G League players coming back to college basketball, which has happened for what it's worth. Santa Clara.
I'll start by addressing that. I think I'm all for opportunities for any player to get their shine, and I think that we're in such a moment of flux that they need to just set these rules, let these guys come back if they want, and then have it be just some uniform rule. The 4 to 5 or the 5 to play 4 year rule. Just have something in place so that we're not having things like this happen all the time. I'm not against it right now. I will say I saw London Johnson play when he was in high school when I was living in Atlanta, and the one game I saw, he looked amazing. So
wow, you hear that, producer Matt?
He was a top 40 prospect.
Here comes Louisville's third title.
Back in 2017.
Hey,
this was a long time ago.
Kind of a joke. Want to put out there, but he was, ranked above Otega Oweh.
Oh,
okay, all right,
all right.
Just saying.
Yep.
Louisville might win a tournament game.
Hey, they might. Hopefully.
Otega Oweh could very well be in the G League very soon. So yeah.
Can they start recruiting NBA players? Can you guys who are in the NBA that didn't do so well?
So that was a question I had, because there was this guy Dink Pate who was the youngest. I think he was like the youngest player to ever go to the G League route. And I asked about him, and since he was on, I believe, in Exhibit 10 in the NBA, he is not eligible for this this pathway that London Johnson is
because
taking.
of just other rules that have been made up?
Because he's technically been on an NBA contract. I have to look at the exact rules, but he was part of an Exhibit 10.
So if you're on a
deal.
two-way contract, you are not eligible for this.
I don't believe you are.
Okay, but that's just rules that somebody made up.
So you have to be in the G League, but not a good G League.
You can't be a good G League player. Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if it feels like the rules are sort of blend. It's really murky. I don't know why you couldn't just change the rules to be like, if you're in the NBA and you're Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and you want to go win a national championship at Kentucky, why not? Why not? You let all the pro players from overseas come in and play. You've now let G League players come in and play. Well, why not? Not that anybody would want to do that. Not that SGA would want to do that. He's obviously being compensated a lot better in the NBA. But, hey, what if LeBron James at 43 years old, I'm going to go. I never got to play college basketball. Can I just go play college basketball?
Yeah, somebody looked this up. Does LeBron have 4 years of eligibility?
He should. He should. All 4 years.
5 for 5.
5 for 5?
Yeah, 5 for 5.
He's going to Akron, Ohio.
No, I think it's an interesting time in college athletics. Mine is strictly just from is this a good addition to U of L? They're going after the top recruits. They're not getting them, so this is where they turn. Is it a smart move? Are you finding a diamond in the rough, or are you just desperate? And this is somebody that isn't going to be a great addition to the program. I find it interesting, and it would be the talk of our show for 2 or 3 days if Kentucky brought in a G League player, which who knows? You never know. Maybe someday that will happen, but it would definitely lead our show if that ever would. We need to go to our last commercial break. Somehow the show is just about 25 minutes from being over. Jacob, you going to hang around or you got to get rolling back to Lexington?
Yeah, I'll hang around.
All right, we'll read some text in. If you got anything for Jacob Polachek, send it on in. Justin Rowland with a huge post about Mark Stoops and UK football. I'll summarize it when we return, and we'll comment on it. Great stuff from Justin, as always. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Okay.
That was great.
Yeah, like I got it queued up, ready for the perfect spot in the song. Like it's ready to go.
It'd be fun though to have a new one that Jacob was involved with in some capacity.
Well, maybe we can do that one. But we have to end it. Have you listened to it since? Because I listened to it last night too many times. We were just I was laughing. We were on a walk and just playing it. It's perfect. It's the perfect end of show. Except the closing time.
Did you download that app?
No, I didn't.
I started getting all these advertisements for it so like our phones are listening to us sort of deal. But we made AI songs on radio yesterday, Jacob, because it was just a Tuesday and UK football kind of stinks. So that's what you do on radio. You just make AI songs, and they actually ended up being bangers. Also, side note, did you see what Green Bay's wearing on Sunday night?
Oh, I like it.
They said
I like it a lot.
The team tweeted out Pittsburgh for the icy uniforms. All white for Green Bay against Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh on Sunday. Yeah, I like it too. Green Bay's uniforms are so traditional, and I love them. Just pretty much anything else, I'm like, oh, look, it's something else. That's neat. I even like the dorky old 1920 throwbacks where they just wear the brown helmets. Oh, yeah, going back to Packer talk now. So put on the Packer hat. I love it. But, yeah, we have to maybe talk a little more NFL tomorrow or on Friday. We've got Jacob Polacek on in studio. It's Wednesday. He's joining us on Kentucky Roll Call. If you've got any questions for him on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. All right, I want to talk a little UK football. Just talk about this Justin Rowland report briefly. He is part of the On3 family now with the addition of rivals.
Our coworker.
He's a coworker of
Jeff Drummond?
Stephen Peake and Jacob Polacek. Yep, Jeff Drummond, great guy. All right, so he says that there's no new developments, but it's expected that things may move on at the end of the season. That Stoops hasn't been passionate for a while, has just kind of been down. Those are all things that you don't need to be an insider.
You can just notice.
Yeah. You don't have to be an insider to know those things. And then a lot of the other stuff is just like, all right, you would expect this to be true. Boosters being frustrated, that's understandable. Boosters frustrated with some of the nil decisions in the roster construction. So it just seems like it's in a spot where everybody's, including Stoops, is maybe ready to move on. He does say if Stoops were to return, multiple sources believe if he stays another mediocre season, there would have to be major staff shakeups, and many doubt that Stoops would even be wanting to do that. So he does mention replacements. You want to hear some names, everybody?
I do like. I'm a huge fan of one of the names. I like two.
So
of them.
he plays the hits with Stein and Summerall. Will Stein, John Summerall would be probably the first two calls. And those bigger jobs, though, you got to keep an eye out on those, especially if Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss and what goes on there.
That's where you lose Summerall. I don't think you lose 35-year-old Will Stein.
Will Stein, though, I don't know. Just because Oregon's rocking and rolling. He is made in the shade right there.
That's great.
And that's not changing.
He does gets him closer to home. He's still young enough where, like, he could even fail as Kentucky's coach. I don't know what failure would look like, but, best case, he goes 7-5. And still, at 35, he can work his way back up and be a head coach and be successful again.
You're right about that. I don't disagree with that. He also mentions P.J. Fleck, Bob Chesney, and Mike Hartline as well.
Mike Hartline.
But it gets a little more interesting in this post from Roland, and make sure you're subscribing to On3. He says that he expects not just changes maybe with the coach, but he's not so sure Mitch Barnhart's going to be making the next hire. He says he may still be there, but he's going to have help if he is making the next hire, and then says that Eric Monday is the likely successor to Mitch Barnhart, the athletic director. He also thinks that there could be changes with the president at UK, and it could just be a whole new ship.
Wow.
So
lots of changes.
Pretty interesting stuff over there at CatsIllustrated.com.
I will say, Rowland added, I don't want to say I know for certain Monday is taking Capilouto's spot, but I have heard some say he's in line. So I think Monday was mentioned as a Capilouto replacement.
Capilouto replacement. Okay, yeah. All right.
Makes
so
more
good.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would take over. I was at UK when old Lee Todd. Right?
Yeah, Lee Todd.
The old Lee Todd days.
Yeah.
They put him on a T-shirt. It was very cool. I never got that T-shirt.
So there will be another committee to find the coach. Didn't we do that for Calipari? Wasn't there a committee to find the next head coach, and they found John Calipari?
I don't know. Is
there
that
was.
different than us hiring a coaching search? Because the coaching search, those are just money laundering operations.
It does seem like that.
I can't be convinced otherwise.
It does seem like that. But no, like I said, I'm big on Will Stein. You look at Oregon's offensive numbers, and I like Summerall. I agree with what Roland said here. And if you wait until the end of the season, Summerall's probably taken off the board by somebody else. There are just too many openings, and John Summerall is one of the hottest names in college football. There was even people saying, and I'll say people, it was Nick Roush and Adam Luckett, who tell me that the best case scenario with Summerall, well, and maybe not the best case scenario, but the most likely scenario is he comes in, Kentucky gets rocking and rolling, they get back to 10 wins, and then he goes. So, which I would absolutely take, by the way. I would absolutely take that in a heartbeat.
Give me the 10 wins, and then we'll worry about what happens.
Exactly, 100%. But I think with Will Stein, it could be the same thing, but I think that Kentucky fans are just dying to watch some good offense. That we could even take 7-5 seasons, 6-6, as long as we're entertained. Because that's the problem, Jacob, is that we're watching Kentucky football lose, and it's boring. That has to 13-13 has to be the lowest. 26 points has to be the lowest combined score of a Kentucky overtime game in a long time. They had 14-14 versus A&M back in 2018.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because obviously Stoops is still the head coach of Kentucky, and we went through this with Cal where I don't want to start attaching myself to any one of these names yet because we did that with the Cal departure.
Yeah.
Really being Dan Hurley. Okay, Hurley's not leaving. Scott Drew. It's got to be Scott Drew. If it's not Scott Drew, what are they going to do? They got nowhere to go. Not Scott Drew. They hire Mark Pope.
Felt out of nowhere, didn't it?
Out of nowhere, and fans were not happy that night. Eventually, they warmed up to him. That opening press conference really put him in good graces, and I think most fans are happy with the job he's done so far. So I don't want to attach myself to one name saying, all right, if Stoops leaves, they got to have Will Stein, and if they don't, it's over. It's like I'm not ready to get to that point yet.
I'm already there. I've already done it.
I think I'm probably in the minority. And
I think you're in a unique position too. I mean, like we grew up Kentucky fans, and so it's like you gotta give it fresh eyes and the outsider's perspective, which is absolutely helpful for me. When you and I talk, it sometimes it makes me worry, but it also gives me like a good perspective of where things are, and not just thinking with emotion, I guess, like I do. And for me, Summerall, he's running the spread offense over at Tulane, but Will Stein's doing the same thing at Oregon, and I would be thrilled if they got John Summerall.
Oh yeah.
But I'd be real excited for Will Stein and having, I mean, what's Summerall? Is he 43? So still a very young head football coach. So I mean, I do like either one of those. I think if you go outside of those two, it's going to be the same deal as it was with Mark Pope. You're going to have to sell us on this and why it's going to work.
Yeah, and I think you have more time to do that. Just given, like I said, Mark Stoops is still the head coach of Kentucky. It's not like a Calipari situation where he kind of leaves overnight and you're scrambling to see who they're going to hire. I'm sure these thoughts are already happening. And,
True. Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of want to just see how it unfolds. And I think there's just a lot of good coaches out there that could do things their way and shake things up, get the fan base excited.
Producer Matt, are you guys worried about losing Brom with all these coaching vacancies?
I mean, I'm always going to be worried about losing Brom. Does that mean I think he's going to leave? No. But I just think that, this is his home. Like he has no reason to leave at this moment. Like, I feel like he's a dude who, we saw it at Purdue, like he could have left earlier but chose not to. He's felt like
loyal.
He's a loyal guy. Yeah. Do I think we'll have him forever?
He did leave, though.
He did leave. Do I think we'll have him forever? Probably not. If he continues like this, he's gonna have his phone's gonna be ringing off the hook. I think that, does he leave now? I don't think so at all. Down the road, possibly.
Well, it would be interesting, wouldn't it, if Kentucky and Louisville both had former Louisville quarterbacks as their head coaches?
That would be very interesting.
It'd be fun. Go ahead.
It'd be a very interesting dynamic that we sure would talk about probably week in and week out.
It would be great. Will Stein, former Louisville quarterback under Cragthorpe, grew up a Kentucky fan. I know this for a fact. And I think he would love the opportunity to be the head coach. There's only 16 SEC head coaching jobs in the world as of right now.
Europe doesn't have any SEC championships.
They have 0. And I think that it is an attractive job. For one, because expectations for Kentucky football aren't what they are for the other, well, should we say 15 other, but at least 14 SEC schools, and the 15th one is a top 10 team right now.
Would those expectations deter you in any way?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if you think that the resources aren't going to be there and you want to be a national championship winning coach, then, I mean, TJ, do you ever foresee Kentucky playing in the college football national championship game? Let's say you live to be 80. What's the life expectancy? It's lower now than it was a few years ago. But let's just say you live to be 85, TJ.
Yes, absolutely.
You think you'll see Kentucky play the national championship game?
I mean, I better. Like, that's the hope, right?
Wow.
Do I think it actually happens in the next 55 years? Do I see UK football play for a national championship game?
He's 30.
Probably no. Probably no.
No. So I do think that, yeah, I agree with producer Matt there a little bit, that if your goal is to win a national championship, that maybe Kentucky's not. But look, the expanded playoffs does give you a more realistic shot at it. So, and you know what? Vanderbilt is top 10, and Indiana is the second best team in the country. Indiana was way worse than Kentucky has been.
And I know fans don't want to hear this at all. I don't want to look at Kentucky as a stepping stone job. But if you go to Kentucky and you turn that program around and you make them a real contender in the SEC, you can have almost any job you want.
Or you can have a contract that gives you a $38 million payout when things don't go so well.
I just think that the Kentucky job right now is so variable depending on who the coach is you're calling. So, like, your biggest thing with Will Stein, I think there's a chance that he could come to Kentucky, but, like, you're also having to pull him away, like TJ said, from Oregon, where he's arguably the best offensive coordinator in the country. They're competing for national championships every year. They're paying him a really good chunk of money.
What is it, 1 point something million?
I think it's up to 2.
Okay, so he can make, in theory, right, like $7 million. I know he won't start at $9 million, but he could easily double his salary and then some, and move back home to Kentucky.
1.75 right now. He is in a sweet spot, regardless of what he does. And you'll be in a spot if you're Will Stein that you get to, do I want to turn down a $7 million job? Yeah, I can, because I feel confident that the next one's going to be better, put me in a better situation. He really does. But Peake's also right that he's young enough where he can go fail at a job and still just be fine within 5 years or within the decade. He could even be getting another head coaching job. So it is a fascinating spot. I just so desperately need this to be the reality that it is a real coaching search, though. And I'm still not totally convinced. I will say all the right media people are sensing it. I don't know how you couldn't fire him and move on from him at the end of this season. He just, I agree that he just seems like he's totally down. But I need it to be official. And that, no, he's not going to get fired mid-year. I do know that. But I just wish that there was some heads up of, like, Stoops is going to finish out this year, but there's an understanding that there's going to be a settlement.
Well, Mark Stoops just needs a vote of confidence.
Yes.
Please clap.
What do you think the approval rating is for Mark Stoops right now?
7%.
3%.
Is it that low? Man.
I was going to go a little higher to like 15, but you're probably right.
Yeah, I just don't know how many people, even if you're just so appreciative for what you've done, how can you be optimistic that he's going to get it back on track? If you do understand the nil era and the transfer pool.
Maybe Stoops has some fans so tuned out that they're looking at it from an an overall perspective and not each game.
And they could. And you could look at it from that and be like, listen, you all, he's been really, really good. He deserves a couple bad years. This is all right. This is just a little blip. And if it was the 60s or 70s or 80s, you could have that outlook on it. He just needs the right recruiting class, and he'll develop him because he's done it before. But it ain't like that anymore. It's just you're not going to strike gold with a recruiting class like you did with the Big Blue Wall, and you have to get money in the program, and he's just not schmoozing the donors anymore.
Literally, as we're talking, On3 posted the Power Conference teams with the worst conference records in the past 2 seasons.
How's Kentucky doing?
Kentucky's tied at 3rd. Who do you think's above, and who do you think they're tied with?
Who's had worse Power 5 Power Conference records?
Kentucky's is 1-12.
Stanford is they've
What's the time
Nope.
frame?
Stanford's at the bottom of this list.
seasons.
They're 4-10.
Last 2 seasons? Well, like Mississippi State?
They're tied with Mississippi State at 1-12.
Yeah, that's a go. Yeah, they went 0 for. Who else has gone 0 for? recently in their conference?
Uh,
What conference we talking about? Narrow it
The
down.
number one is in the
ACC.
Big Ten. The second one is in the Big
Purdue?
12. Purdue's number one at 0-15.
and then you said the Big 12.
Yes. Just fired their coach.
Just
Oklahoma State.
Yep.
OSU. Okay.
Dang.
Yeah, it's not good company.
No.
I just don't think. I think Kentucky fans deserve a little bit better than that.
How crazy is it that, and see if I'm wrong here, I think Mark Stoops has played 5 overtime games since he's been at Kentucky. They've lost 4 of them. Failed 2-point play versus Northwestern, missed field goal in 2018, missed extra point in 2020, failed to score from 5 inches out or 6 inches out versus Texas. Isn't that crazy to lose all 4 of your Power 5 or all 4 of your FBS overtimes, because they did beat EKU? That's the one overtime win. Isn't that crazy?
Working on it.
Shout out to Dorian Baker for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
that-
watching
that-
enough Kentucky football, I guess it's not crazy watching this team.
No, it's just like that kind of sums it up for me. I mean, how many games has Kentucky been so close? But that's the way that Mark Stoops plays, right? I mean, Kentucky doesn't get blown out very often. They're able to stay in these games and just not able to close them out. What a difference, really, if you think about, you're going to look back in the Mark Stoops era and you're going to look at some of these games and think, man, if they just could have got one more play, one more stop, made a field goal or an extra point, and it's totally different.
Yep. Yeah.
As recently as like 2023. That wasn't 10 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
What if game?
Yeah, a lot of what ifs of the Mark Stoops era, for sure.
Calipari too. If you don't
Yep.
go to overtime against St. Peter's, if you don't lose to Oakland, things could be drastically different in those instances. Let's read a couple texts. If you were watching on YouTube and I had to run out, we have a lost dog situation. So if you're in Linden and you see my dog, let me know. But it's not uncommon, and we would make like a little bit of a radio bit about it with Roush back in the day, that he would kind of run around the neighborhood, just kind of go on joy walks for an hour maybe. But this is like 40 hours, so it's much different. Although we have a dog tracker coming over right after the show today.
Wow.
The person who said he's a German, and it's just been reiterated that he's German. I'm not sure why.
This would be great
I'm not sure
content,
why the
by the way.
nationality of the dog tracker is so important, but it has been hit home that this is a German dog tracker, and he's got 2 dogs. And they're just gonna it's gonna be like the movies with like the Basset Hounds. They're just gonna take off and go follow Cincy and stuff like that.
Homeward Bound 3.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So that's kind of interesting. And then I've got from Lexington a thermal drone guy coming in this evening. So he's gonna be able, because it's just a bunch of like woodland and open farmland by my house. So it's for miles and miles. So he's gonna get this thermal drone up there that's gonna be able to see if something's an animal or something like that. But scary situation. I feel bad for the dog. It's been really chilly the last 2 nights. So if you're driving around the Linden, Westport Road, LaGrange Road area, keep an eye out. But that's the scary thing, is that there has not been one sighting. And there have been thousands, if not maybe tens of thousands of people that have seen a social media post about this dog. And there has not been one sighting, not one camera recording of it. So that's a little concerning. So I think there's one of 3 options. 1, obviously not a good option. 2, he's hidden, or he's just lost in the woods, and there is plenty of space for him to be lost. So it certainly could be 2, or it could be 3. Somebody just kind of scooped him, and they just haven't, he hasn't been brought in.
Is he chipped and everything?
He is chipped,
Okay.
yeah. We don't have an air tag on him, unfortunately, or anything like that. But yeah, not ideal. 11-year-old too, and he's in good health or good shape, but he's 11, so it's not. He's not a young pup anymore. So scary situation, and I would say if we don't get anything tonight or tomorrow, it's you wonder what's up. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. So I had to run and take a phone call real quick. But if you see him, let me know. Anyways, let's read a couple texts into the Game Day Men's Health text line. I don't think Jeff will ever leave, the exception of an NFL offering him a head coaching job. Did you all talk about Jeff Brom?
I did. I asked producer Matt if he was worried that with all the job openings and even in the future, would Jeff Brom ever be out the door? He said he's not really. Matt, what did you say again? You're not really concerned?
I'll always be worried because he's a successful head coach, but not in recent times am I worried about that.
Yeah, if I was a UL fan, I wouldn't worry at all. I actually think
He's a lifer?
the storyline that Rutherford should be talking. Bring this up with the Rutherford producer, Matt. I think the storyline is, how much does U of L entertain? I don't think Brom will be a jerk quite like Stoops was. Stoops wasn't doing this. This was Jimmy Sexton of I'm not going to kill the university for raises just because I got you all behind a barrel, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder how much Brom is going to be like, you all just pay me what's fair versus, hey, Penn State and Florida and these jobs are calling. You all need to match this money. Where does U of L, is there a pushback ever on that? Do you get what I'm saying, producer
No,
Matt?
I get what you're saying. I think that
describing
it's
it.
definitely going to be something like that. I don't think it'll be with him. I think it'll be with his agent, and I'm confident that once the season's over, they'll figure something out.
Well, that's the thing, TJ. He's going to use his agent because that's what if I was Jeff Brown, I'd be like, I don't want to. He's a little too attached to the university. I would just say, have my agent handle that.
But I agree. I think that he'll be honest about it. Like, hey, obviously, we need more money. Like, I want more money. I'm getting these phone calls, and I think the U of L will match it.
Yeah, it's just, but like, is Brom going to be cool and say, I don't want to kill the university, so you all don't pay me necessarily what I'm worth, I'm taking a discount? Or does he say, no, you all are going to pay me what I'm worth, in which case U of L will. They're not going to they're going to pay him, but it could hurt the university in some other areas. But we'll figure that stuff out in time. Oh, goodness gracious. How is it already 2 o'clock? It's Bush League to let these kids who weren't smart enough to go to college out of high school come back years later. Also Bush League to bring back Euros. Take the college scholarships to the Americans and high school kids. Oh, boy, what a text to end the show. Oh, okay. Well, that's it. Here's our AI song, Jacob. Thank you so much for your time, buddy. This was a blast.
Thank you, guys.